Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to go over the Korean MapleStory test server changes that just got announced last night, and they change so much about the future of the game, star forcing, bossing, new endgame weapons. A lot of stuff just got announced in the Korean server that is going to change everything, especially in the heroic worlds, so like the reboot worlds, because a lot of these changes admittedly have not been made with the reboot/heroic server in mind. Naturally, because for those who don't know, the Korean server does not have a heroic world or a reboot world at all. As a matter of fact, the GMS region, which is what we play in, is the only region that has a reboot world in the first place, or a heroic world. So these changes that are coming to us don't really fit that well with our server, but that does not mean I'm dooming. I still think that these changes were going to be inevitable, and of course there's going to be a star forcing update at some point, and although they're not perfectly optimized for our way of playing, and I'll explain why a bit later into this video, I do think that the future of the game will still be okay, and we'll get a modified version of this update that will work well for us. Anyways, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I will explain everything to you in this video, and if this video helped you out, make sure to subscribe. With that all being said, let's get right into it. So the first thing that I alluded to a bit earlier is that there will be a massive star forcing revamp entirely on the game. So this doesn't only mean that the star forcing cap will be increased to 30 stars. Now you could get higher than 22 stars realistically. The rate in star forcing also changes, like success rates, boom rates, and stuff like that. So first of all, if you have an item that's at 23 star already, it's going to be changed to be able to be 25 stars after the update. And then if you have a 25 star item somehow, then you're going to get a 30 star item. But let's talk about these star forcing rates a little bit more. So basically, this is what the star forcing rate is going to look like before and after. The way that star forcing is now, you know how when you fail a star, when it's above 15, it goes down. So let's say you do 16 to 17 over here. There's a almost 68% chance that it's going to go down a star, right? So instead of just failing and it stays at 16, it goes back down to 15. And then there's a small chance that it booms. So what they changed is that stars can no longer go down at all, period. So if you're starring from 21 to 22, it'll never go back down to 20. It'll stay at 21 until it either goes to 22 or booms. So now these are the new rates. So like, for example, 17 to 18 is only a 15% chance of succeeding, but it doesn't drop anymore. So what this turns out to be is basically from 0 to 22, it's roughly the same. Maybe just a little bit more expensive from 0 to 22, but anything after 22 is still going to be pretty hard to get, but it is achievable. Most likely what's going to happen is people are going to be slowly working on 23 or 24 star gear, but 25 and beyond is very, very unlikely for the vast majority of players, even end gamers, just because the rates are so low. So long story short, if you want to keep it like super simple, this new star forcing method was designed with tradability in mind, obviously, because that's what other servers could do, is they could trade items, they could buy items, they could buy mesos, all that stuff. It does cost a lot of money, so it's a huge meso sink. So people who have a lot of money have no idea what to do with it. This method, this star forcing method, and this update will give you stuff to do with your money. But you also need a ton of spares. Like, you need a massive amount of spares, which is a little awkward because certain pitch items that have a very low drop rate, especially on the heroic world, are going to be pretty much impossible to get like dozens of spares of. So for example, stuff like Sweetwater Monocle or Golux will probably be best in slot again because you can get so many more spares of them. Some people are even saying that CRA is better than Eternals, but I don't think so. I think the Eternals will still be better because you can work on getting 23 star Eternals, which would probably be higher stats than like a 24 or even 25 star CRA. So I don't think CRA is going to be meta again necessarily. I think at best you can just get CRA to 22, or really if you want extra damage you get 23, and then just hold on to it until you get 22 star Eternals, but I don't think that's necessary regardless. But yeah, the point is you need a lot of spares. And the reason why that's not good for our server in Heroic is because it's really hard to get a lot of spares, especially for pitch items. So we're going to have to put our faith in Inkwell, and he adjusts this system so that it works better for us. And I don't know what that exactly would look like. Off the top of my head, I could say that we're definitely going to need an increase in the amount of spares that we get if we're going to get this system. Like, we're going to have to find a way to get more pitch, more, slime rings or whatever it is, because if we get no changes and we just get this update outright from KMS, then it's going to be very, very hard to progress past 23 or 24 stars, which kind of feels lame because it's like you introduce this whole system and then we're still capped the same as we always were. And the extra stars don't really help us too much. It doesn't really like change that much. We would still have to keep waiting for future updates for more and more power creep. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm going to look at it in the way of like, I'm just waiting for Inkwell to give an announcement on this and tell us if we're going to get this exact system or if we're going to get a modified one. I think we're going to get a modified one due to historically Inkwell has changed updates from KMS that would negatively affect the heroic world. So I think we're going to get a modified version of this. What's cool is there's a StarForce calculator that is already developed, which is pretty interesting. So if we want to look at how much it would cost to, let's say, 22 star a CRA item, for example, around 10 bill and around 2 to 3 spares. So it's about roughly the same. But let's talk about 23 star. Wow, so 23 star is way more achievable now. It's not like, 30 plus booms. It's around 6 booms and costs like 21 bill mesos. And then 24 star, okay, like that's still not too horrible for items that you have a ton of spares of, right? 18 to 19 booms, around 60 bill. Obviously, there's variance, right? So you could get fucked over, you could get lucky. But once you start getting to 25 stars, this is when it's like, okay, this is going to be very hard to near impossible to get because you need 50 spares or something. Like that's very, very hard to do. And then 26, even more. 27, it's just like not going to be possible unless you have god tier luck or you have access to like hundreds of spares of an item. So let me know what you guys think of this StarForcing change. Obviously, for early game players, this doesn't really affect things too much. But for like the late to end game players, this is very, very, very different because now the best in slot items have changed. Like the items that you can get the most spares of are generally going to be the best items now. But we'll see. We'll see exactly how it works. Keep in mind, this is all test server, so who knows what'll change when it officially goes live. The next part of the update is the Destiny weapon, and I want to talk about the Destiny weapon. The Destiny weapon quests have been revealed, and they are very hard to do. They're going to be very, very hard for the heroic world to do because we currently don't have enough damage to do probably at least 2 of the quests. And also the way that the point system works is kind of crazy, to be honest with you. So getting a Destiny weapon, long story short, is going to be a super, super long process unless, of course, something gets changed or modified for our server for it to be more clearable. So what are the missions? How does this work? So the 3 missions that you need to do to clear your Destiny Quest Liberation Part 1, there's going to be 3 parts total, but this is just Part 1 that has come out, is you have to defeat Hard Saren by yourself with an 80% final damage reduction. So that means you are doing 80% less total damage to Hard Saren. Now, I think this one will be possible because some people just go in and one burst Saren, right? I can almost one burst him myself. I think it'll be possible to clear this mission for the end gamers, right? But once you get to the second and third mission, this is when things get really, really, really hard. So the second mission is you have to solo Chaos Kalos by yourself. Now, this might be possible for a very few amount of people, but it's unlikely that the vast majority of people will be able to clear this mission unless we get some sort of power creep or power booster or something. So you have to clear Sea Kalos by yourself, and you only have 3 lives to do it. And then the third mission is you have to clear Hard Kaling by yourself, but you get a 20% boost in final damage. Now, obviously, that one is very, very hard, and we'll see if we'll be able to do it because these bosses are also getting nerfed. Like, Hard Culling is also getting nerfed, so it should make it easier, but we don't know exactly how hard it's going to be. Most likely, these quests are going to be extremely difficult, and we're going to need some sort of power creep to do them. But the thing is, that's not the only part to this quest. You also need to get a certain amount of boss points to complete the quest. So if you look at this image over here, it's 2 parts to the quest. You have to clear the Hard Saren at minus 80% final damage, and then you have to get 2,000 of these points. Now, what are these points? How do you get them? So just like the new Liberation for Black Mage, where you need to get points, it's the same thing for Saren and Destiny Weapon. So these are the points that you can get, and these are split amongst your party. So let's say you clear Hard Saren in a party of 6, then you get 1 point. So that means you would have to clear Hard Saren in a party of 6 2,000 times to finish that because you need 2,000 points, right? But let's say you do Extreme Saren in a party of 4, right? You do your 4-man Extreme Saren. That means you get 20 points per run. So you have to clear it like 100 times. And then you would be able to complete that first mission only. Now, normal limbo is pretty good value because, you know, you can only do it with 3 people. Then you get 40 points per. Hard killing, you get 160. Extreme callous, you get 400. Long story short, even if you're doing these parties in like a 3-man, 4-man, 6-man, it's going to take a very, very long time to get the required points to do the Destiny quest. Things like extreme culling are just currently like not clearable. So even though this one gives 1200, it's just not realistic to expect points from that. Most people are probably going to get a lot of points from normal limbo, probably hard culling, extreme Saren, sea Kalos. They're probably going to farm their points from that, but it's still going to take many, many months and potentially over a year just to complete the first quest for a lot of people. Unless obviously we get some sort of adjustments or power increase, which we most likely will, in my opinion. So I don't think it's going to be this like never ending process. I think it'll get easier and easier over time. So this is what the new Destiny weapon effect looks like. So it has like a blue watery look kind of, and yeah, it looks cool, I guess. It's just like the Genesis weapon, but blue and white. And then these are what the weapons look like for a lot of different classes. Honestly, it kind of looks like a CRA weapon. I don't know if it's just me. I think the Genesis weapons look cooler. But I mean, either way, like if you have one of these, you're a big dog for sure. You guys already know the katanas are going to look the best. Now, the next part of this update that was pretty crazy is they announced a new ring box and a new type of grindstone. So certain bosses like normal limbo, for example, are going to drop this new ring box with new grindstone. Actually, more than just normal limbo, like a bunch of bosses are going to drop it. And this box drop gives you a level 3 or 4 ring, kind of like the white box, but it also gives you a chance at getting a grindstone, which is really, really good for us because obviously grindstones are not tradable in our server. We don't have anything that's tradable. So it could be really, really hard to get a grindstone, and it forces people on our server to boss solo. Like for me, obviously I could do see Kalos, but I solo normal Kalos instead because not only did I finish my Eternals, I also get my own grindstone loot. But now you can run bosses like sea Kalos in a party and still get a chance at getting your own grindstone, which is really good. And on top of that, they added level 6 Oz rings. So you can upgrade just like how you can go from level 4 to level 5. You can upgrade from level 5 to level 6. And the stats are crazy. So this one is the Ring of Restraint. So instead of getting 100% attack, it's 120% attack and magic attack, which is quite a bit more. And what's cool is they added quality of life to Ring of Restraint, where like if you leave the zone, you can step back in the zone and still maintain the buff. Weapon jump is 480% of your attack being converted. And then continuous is really, really strong. 160 boss to 195 and then 14% attack. So that ring is going to be insane too. They also added Hexastat 3. So now we have Hexastat 1 and 2 right now. There's going to be a third one unlocked and it's going to be the exact same. You just need to be level 270 to access it. So this is going to give us a bit of power, another like 3 to 4 final damage just from Hexastat 3. And then what's really cool is they added quality of life to certain bosses. They said that there will be a Damien rework incoming, but for now they made Damien easier just so that it's not as annoying. But look at this, when you bind phase 2, the balls go away in Damien. So this makes it so that you could get off your burst every single time and it's going to be way easier. What's also really cool is they made his patterns happen less. So he's going to be in the air less. He's going to be teleporting around less, stuff like that. So they just made Damien a lot easier because this boss is just so annoying. And they finally did something about it. And last but not least, of course, I want to mention that they announced these new hairs for male and female. And I think they look really good. That's it. So that's basically it for all of the updates. But I want to go back to talking about STARFORCING and how this affects our server, because this is most likely going to be what most people are going to be talking about for a very long time. You're going to get a lot of doomers, and I'm going to be combating the doomers for the next 6 months. This is basically like the Meso cap change all over again, the Soul Erta cap change all over again, where people are going to quit, piss their pants, shit everywhere, and just lose their minds because oh, it's over, like what's the point, reboot's dead, I'm gonna go back to reg server, I'm gonna move to reg server, blah blah. I don't think that this is gonna make our server dead. I think that we'll get an adjustment to make this more optimized for our server. Obviously this is a change that is intended around players who can trade, so since we can't trade, it's not going to be optimal for us. Obviously, I'm not saying that this is the best, perfect, most amazing update in the world. I do think it's good that they're increasing STARFORCING. I do think it's it's good that there's another Meso sync in the game because it gives more people stuff to do and more things to be excited for. But this is not optimized around our server. So I'm expecting that Inkwell addresses this and changes it in a way that more reflects our server's gameplay. And I think he will. I have faith, and I don't think it's doomed. It is going to be very interesting because I know a lot of end gamers have started doing Conversi again. They started doing Golux again because those items you can get way more spares of. And if you have managed to get like a 25, 24, if you're super lucky, 26-star Golux or Sweetwater, then that's going to be super, super strong versus a 22 eye patch, for example, that you can't get any spares of. We'll see what's going to happen. If you want to play it super safe, then start doing your dailies again. And I guess we'll see what happens. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. I'm going to maintain this optimistic attitude. Even if I'm wrong, it doesn't really matter. What do I lose by being optimistic? But we'll see what happens. I think that the reg server players are probably thinking this is a POG update because they could get even stronger. So there's that. Anyways, let me know what you think about all of this. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and pull up to the live stream because that helps me out so much. And obviously, if you have any questions, leave a comment down below. And if you got to the very end of this video, I want you to say the word Destiny because of the new Destiny weapons. So I know you're a real one and you watched the whole thing. Anyways, I appreciate you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day. Shout out to my members, Blazefire, Shooms, Shagad, Ravi Espa, Koga, Skittles, Dante Victory, CK, Jay, Kyle, Vampiric X, Fresh and Juicy, Assassin, Henzo, Henrique, and Kelvin. I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you everybody who submitted fan art. You can always submit it in the Discord and it'll be put at the end of every video. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.